Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Crafty Historian podcast. My name is Rachel and I have just finished my second year at the University of York studying history. And for those of you that have been watching for a while may be able to notice that I am actually at home. Long story, but I've been home for a while. But this is the first time I've had to podcast in about 2 months. So yes. If you're looking to find me, you can find me on Ravelry as Rachel Ravenclaw and on Instagram as Ravenclaw Rachel. There is a podcast Ravelry group. I've had it up for a while, but I haven't been using it. But if you want to join us, just search the Crafty Historian and hopefully it should turn up. I don't know, I was thinking about perhaps doing a Christmas small knit along, purely because I have been in the very much Christmas in July theme, and Christmas, because my birthday is in December, is one of my favourite times of year. So yes, that's, if you want to get in contact with me, I am very welcome to have crafty chats, or if you have any questions about anything that's raised in this episode, you are very welcome to contact me. As I said, I'm on my summer holidays and it gets a bit lonely, I won't deny. It's lovely, but I'm also meant to be doing dissertation research, so I can't go and visit all my friends all the time. So why not make some new crafty friends? So yes, as I was saying, there's been a bit of a delay, partly because the end of term, when I wasn't, after my exams had finished, was filled full of dancing. And if you're a new viewer, you will probably not know that I am a swing dancer. This means I dance 1930s, 40s Lindy Hop. I used to do Charleston, but I'm too ill now to do it. But I had several events in those last few weeks, which meant I was either dancing or recovering from dancing, but lots of knitting happened. And then when I got home because I had to be in the house because we were having our bathroom redone. So I was in the house for 4 weeks with just me and the builder. And I'm an anxious person and I don't like strangers in my house. I get freaked out when my sister's boyfriend comes round, let alone a stranger who has got drills and hammers and blah. So I was not in a fit state to do much of anything. So now I'm horribly behind schedule on my dissertation research and you haven't had a podcast for several weeks. But the builder is practically done now and I have a day to myself. So you're getting a podcast. Okay. And I think, rather than all this babbling, we should just get into it. What do you think? I'm going to start with my knitting and finished objects, one of which I am wearing here. So, last time I spoke to you, I was talking about my Colour Affection shawl, which is done. And this is the first shawl I've ever done. It's the wrong way round. There we go, that's better. And as you can see, it's these lovely different bands of colour. It's a crescent shaped shawl and I made it out of the cream being King Cole Zig Zag. A green stripe here is Knit Pick Stroll Tonal in the Canopy colourway, I believe. And then this gorgeous multicolour, which has this lovely brim at the end, is Stranded Dyeworks in the Funfair. This is all fingering, wait, and, oh, I think I just got lipstick on it. Whoops, gonna have to wash that off. But yes, I got this done in time for the Britknit Cow, which, if you follow Amy of Stranded Dyeworks and the Stranded podcast, finished at the end of June, and I think I had 2 days to spare. and it was a lot of stitches. It's probably more stitches than I've ever knit on before, but it was really enjoyable. So I'm trying to figure out how to wear it now. I believe this is the more modern way of wearing a shawl, but you don't get to see all the different colour transitions like this, so I'm not sure. But it's lovely and it goes very well with this dress. I call this my Merida dress because I pretend I'm a Disney princess whilst wearing it. Because I am an adult. I am. Shh. Don't. Well, not really. So yes, I knit this on 3.75mm circular needles. They were just regular pony ones, but as I mentioned, I'm a student. Make of that what you will. So this is my first shawl and I'm really happy with it. It's so soft and squishy. So yes, I actually have a parade of finished objects for you this week because pretty much all I've been able to do whilst the builder has been here is knit. So enjoy, because next up I have not one but 2 pairs of finished socks. Yay! I'm going to start off with these ones because these were cast on first. You may remember me regaling how much I hate knitting patterned socks. I started, I can't remember which one's which now. No idea. But I knit one of them and then it had to go in the naughty corner because I didn't like knitting it. This is the Hermione's Everyday pattern, and the only reason I didn't like it was because it wasn't simple stocking stitch. And this one one of them took about 6 weeks to knit, and then it sat in the naughty corner for about 2 months. The other one took less than a week. So the yarn is Norah George yarns in the History colourway, ironic, and it came with this lovely mini skein for contrast heels and toes, which is the first time I've done that and I really like it. So the socks I'm making will now probably always have contrast heels and toes. And I just think I'm glad to have them done. They are gorgeous colours. There's a glare up there, so we're going to do this. Look at those gorgeous autumny colours. I have another 9 AM at in an old medieval building next term and all of next year. So guess where these will be coming out? They will be my morning history socks, I reckon. But I am really happy. I knit these on 2.75mm needles. The wooden Knit Pro Symphonies, I think they are, and they're on a 40cm cable, so it's quite short, but I quite enjoy that. I don't like having big rabbit ears. I'm just glad I have them done, and I now know not to do pattern socks for a little while because I don't enjoy them as much. So it's all a learning curve, and I've got 2 beautiful socks out of them. So there. The second pair of socks are my purple Cole Zig Zag socks. And these are interesting because they were done, these were my first pair done toe up. Now this toe is a bit too pointy for my liking, but it gave me the skills so that I know how to make it less pointy. I can make it more rounded like these ones, which fit me nicely. I forgot to say also, this was my first ever slip stitch, heel, turn and a gusset, and they fit really well on my feet. because I've got high arches and a high instep, so your regular heels, even regular socks, have issues on my feet. So these are really nice because I can decrease really quickly here, which, well, you've got that length, but it swoops down really quickly. So while it says decrease every other row, for the first half I decreased every row because it fit my foot better, because there's such a gradient on my feet. Anyway, back to these ones. So these were my first toe-up socks. They're also my first time doing a fish lips kiss heel, and I really liked it. It was sort of an ingenious way of working it, and it gave a beautiful seam. I haven't worn these yet, so I don't know, I've still got the ends to weave in. But I'm so happy with them. I do like King Cole Zig Zag sock yarn. It's a little rough, so it may not be everyone's liking, but I find that they make the most hard wearing socks, and they're warm. And I mean, that's all you want from a pair of socks, isn't it? So these, I also pride myself in getting near matching socks every single time I knit. Hang on, that way around. I know that doesn't fuss some people, but it fusses me. I want matching socks. So if they've got a stripe like this, they match. All of my socks that have been striped, I have matched. And that's just a personal preference, but there we go. Another pair of socks. And then my final batch of finished objects is this little box of Christmas knitting, because I started Christmas knitting in July. I have made a list and I'm slowly ticking off things that I want to make for people for Christmas, and surprisingly it's going fairly quickly, so who knows. They range from everything from nice little Weasley jumpers to socks. So it all depends on how knit-worthy someone is, or how much I like them. Or if they've got a birthday coming up, in which case they get a little one of these and then something else. So, starting off, I have made 3 mini Weasley jumpers so far. This one's for Lucy, Holly and Minon, and I just need to add in the little hanging loops that I add to them, and these were really quick and simple. I sort of just sat down one day and decided I was going to make them. So I knit all the fronts and all the backs, then I knit all the sleeves, sewed all the sleeves together, did all the necks, sewed everything up, and done. I do my initials, that's a bad one to show, here we go, with stranded colour work, just because I find it's easier. I don't trust my duplicate stitching. So yes, those are 3 of my first gifts that are in the dump pile. I picked these up. These are for my friend Grace. These are actually my first pair of Knit Picks felici socks, and I knit both of these entirely in the car. One on the way to drop my sister off at band camp, where I had the cuff done. I went down to the heel and beyond in one trip and finished it. And the other one, oh no, this one was done to collect her, and this one was going to visit some family closer to London. So yes, these are my first pair of Knit Picks felici socks. As you can see, stripes matching perfectly. And yeah, I'm really happy with how they've turned out. They have contrasting well, not contrasting heels and toes, but I've put a cream heel and a cream toe in just because I think it makes it look more professional. I like how they're split. I only used one 50-gram ball for each sock. She's got the same sock feet as mine, so that gives me hope that I might be able to buy some felici, but only have to purchase one skein. I am so excited because it is amazing, amazing yarn. But that means I've got to spend money, and I'm currently saving for September when I have to start paying for food again. So we'll see how it goes. I've got some sock yarn to be going with. So I've still got one more skein. Perhaps we'll be matchy-matchy and I can have a pair of socks too. Who knows? But I'm really happy with them. And she will love them. She's had a pair of socks before and she adored them. She asked for another pair for birthday or / Christmas. So these will be either or birthday or Christmas. Yes. And the last two things I have finished so far are 2 hats. I'll start off with the one I knitted first. This is the Jacques Costeau hat, which has a lovely sort of, oh, there we go, twirly decrease at the top. There's the light coming in and it's looking awful. So yes, it's gone to a bit of a point, but it flattens out. And this is for my friend Harry, who I have spoken about before, and he's got a big head, so I'm sure it will be fine. It's just a lot of simple ribbing, and the decreases are really interesting. It is a free, oh, I hate this light. It is a free pattern, so perhaps check it out. I'm going to see if I can tilt it a little. Am I off centre now? Is that better? Maybe a little bit. But anyway, I would recommend this hat if it's just a simple one. It was a little confusing. I perhaps wouldn't have decreased all the way up to this too. It is fairly pointy, but I don't mind. He'll like it. And that's just some Stylecraft Life DK on 3.75mm as well. So yes, that's one hat. And the second hat I knit is from my friend Emma, and this is Hermione's Godrics Hollow hat. And it's got this lovely sort of star stitch pattern. I'm not sure if you can, there we go. And it's done in this aubergine, and it's an Aran by Peyton's called Woolrich. It's again a free pattern and it's lovely and thick. I think I will be knitting myself one of these. No, I can't do that. It'll get stuck on my hairpins. But it's a really lovely squishy hat, and I think she'll like it. This was knit on 5mm needles, so a bit bigger, a bit chunkier, but it was a hard stitch on your fingers because you were knitting 3 together, yarn over, purling 3 together into the same 3 stitches, so it was a bit, there's a bit of resistance, shall we say, but otherwise all good. So those are all my finished objects in the past sort of month and a bit. I'm just going to fold these back into their basket. But yeah, so I only finished some of them recently, so I haven't had time to cast on more things. I have, at the moment, one more Christmas present on the needles as a whip, and this is the Jasmine scarf by Pearl Soho. Oh, this light is going to frustrate me. There we go. And as you can see, it's this nice sort of herringbone stitch. I've cast this on 61 needle stitches on a 4.5mm needle, and it's a DK weight. It's only acrylic. It was £1.50 a ball, but Minon's one of those that doesn't exactly have time to hand wash things, so we'll see how it goes. I did all of this last night, so hopefully it will grow pretty quickly. Maybe I'll spend some time doing that later. So yes. I will also probably cast on another pair of socks. I've got about 3 more pairs of socks to knit for birthday / Christmas. I've got one for my godmother, I've got one for my mum, and one for my friend Paulina. I have the yarn for those already, so just a case of sitting down and casting on. So yeah, I've also got 3 more mini Weasley jumpers to make, but that should again just be another day where I can sit down and knit. And then I've got 1 hat to knit. It's a cream Aran hat, an Aran weight hat, and it's my first time. It will be my first time trying cables, so we will see how that goes. Yeah. Other than that, my sister wants a cabled cushion cover, and I quote, anything I can use at uni. She's much more minimalistic than I am, so who knows what that means. Bother. The other thing I've been working on is my Cozy Memories blanket. I have squared off the second quarter, and sewn most of the ends in. I sewed them in when I joined them together. So these ones are still loose because nothing has been joined to them yet. But all the other ones have gone in. And I've been working on the 3rd quadrant, which is my Harry Potter quadrant. And I'm getting that to 9x9. I'm getting that, not 9x9, 3x3. And then I'm going to do the same. So I've got at least opposite quadrants ready to go. And then possibly, then I need to plan out which yarns to make it to 4x4 and 5x5. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that's all my knitting, I believe. I've been fairly busy, but then it has been a fair few weeks, and as I said, the builder has left me with anxiety coming out of my ears. So this is my respite. Sewing wise, I did make a Agnes top by Tilly and the Buttons. It's made out of a lilac jersey, but I cannot for the life of me find where I've put it. So I spent about 10 minutes this morning going around going, where is it, where is it? It's not in the drawer, and it's not on my sewing pile, so who knows where it's run off to. Who knows? But it was a really simple pattern and I enjoyed it so much that I decided to work on more of Tilly's patterns. I have her book, I Love at First Stitch, but as I'm not a beginner sewist, I've been sewing, well, I was taught to sew when I was 10 by my grandma. I thought, maybe not, these are a bit simple, but it turns out, because of the shape that I am, they're not that simple. For example, I tried to make a lovely A-line Delphine skirt. But I have had so many issues because my hips are 3 sizes bigger than my waist. So I tried grading my pattern, but then it ballooned, and I've now, I think I've got it fitted on my hips, but now it's wrinkling up the back. I don't know what's going on, but it's really wrinkled because it's been folded on my chair for a little while. But yeah, it looks like I've barely done anything. But I've got a zip in, a nice zip. I've got my facing in, which is also done nicely. I meant to be just sewing in the ditch here, but as I said, the fit is still not right and it's driving me mad. So who knows how far that will go. I need my mum really to sit and help me with it, because she seems to know what she's doing more than I do. Apart from that, I've got some fabric which I really want to get sewing with. I've got more to make another Agnes top. I've got one to make a lovely blue dress with white flowers over it. And I've got, what have I got? Sorry, my fabric is on the chair just behind you, so I'm just looking. I've got a nice lilac and blue tartan which I want to make another skirt out of. But as I'm having issues with skirts, that may sit on the back burner. Also from the Love at First Stitch book, I want to make a white Mimi blouse with a nice collar. So that might be my next one that I have a go at. I haven't done any scrapbooking recently, mainly because of tensions running high and I have to be in my room to scrapbook. It's not very portable craft, and with the builder only being then across the hall, I didn't feel comfortable at all. So yes, my crafty phases are definitely, scrapbooking is low at the moment, knitting and sewing are on the high, so we'll see how it goes. I'm very used to this. It's part of why I'm a hoarder, because I know at some point things will flip again and I don't want then to have to go and buy all my paper and stickers and all sorts again when my whims change. So who knows. I did, however, have an acquisition on eBay. I saw a lovely advert for some fabric. It's this gorgeous burgundy with blue florals. My sister charmingly just said, "Oh, it looks like a Hawaiian shirt." I think it's gorgeous. I want to make a dress out of this. Out of the same pattern that I made my deck chair dress too. Aren't they charming? My mum and my sister. But this is a lovely fabric. It's got a beautiful drape. And I want to make the V-neck version with short sleeves. I think it'll be lovely in going into the autumn as well. Oh, it's lovely. Just the drape on this. Look at that. Oh, it's the wrong way. Ah! There we go. Look at that. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's possibly a bit lightweight. I may have to tackle linings, but I'm in love with it. And now I'm going to have to fold it up again. I'll just wear it as a blanket for now. I don't have anything on my wish list or in my help me section at the moment because, as I said, just keeping it chill. I've got mostly what I need. If anyone can tell me how I ended up with so many commercial socks, that'd be great. Because you may see these little drawers up here. I cannot fit my socks in all of those, in one of those drawers. I need a big drawer to fit all my socks, let alone my handmade socks, which sit on a box on the side of my drawers. So why do I have so many commercial socks? Is it because they sell ones that are Harry Potter and Winnie the Pooh ones? Quite possibly. Is it because I also always get a 5-pack of Christmas socks? Quite possibly. I don't own any socks that aren't Christmas, Harry Potter or Winnie the Pooh. So, apart from my knitted ones, we have problems. I have problems. So, that is all of my sort of crafty content for now. If you want to stay, I'm going to be doing some history. I'm going to be dipping into my On This Day book again, which I did a couple of episodes ago. But if you don't fancy finding out something, I think we're going to go for the first one. We're going for the 2nd of August because the 1st of August is all modern and I can't stand modern. So we're going for the 2nd of August, which is a week and a bit away. I can't remember what day it is today. So, but this will give you something when the 2nd of August rolls by. So you're like, did you know? So, if you don't fancy finding out a little bit about the 2nd of August, then thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely week or a lovely day, and I shall see you again at some point. I don't know when. It will be whenever I can grab some time to myself. But if you follow me on Instagram, you might get some sneaky peeks at what I am up to. Although at the moment I am knitting Christmas presents for people who do follow me on Instagram. So I only show like the cast on edge so no one can tell what it is. But you know what they are now. Shh, don't tell them. So yes. Thank you, and here comes some history. So, the 2nd of August, the reason I flipped from the 1st, because the 1st starts in 1774, whereas the 2nd of August has something from 1100, which instantly, as a medievalist, brings more of an interest to me. So, if you don't know this book, this is On This Day in History by Graham Donald. It was a Christmas present to me a couple of years ago from my lovely friend Helena. So, in 1100, on the 2nd of August, English King William II is accidentally, in quotes, killed by an arrow fired by one of his entourage while hunting in the New Forest. The hitman, Walter Tyrrell, can't pronounce, flees for France as William's younger brother Henry loots the treasury and declares himself king. So, that sounds incredibly medieval, and if you're thinking it sounds a bit familiar, yeah, it probably has an element of Game of Thrones about it, because history was a bit bloodthirsty, brutal, all of the above in the medieval times. So this idea of an accidentally, it's possible that he could have been murdered so that his younger brother could be king. But I'm not an expert on the subject, so more research should be done. Then it jumps all the way to 1870. And in 1870, on the 2nd of August, Tower Subway and Underground Railway opens in London between Tower Hill and Vine Lane on the South Bank. It later gains notoriety when it is suspected that Jack the Ripper, whose playground lies in nearby Whitechapel, is using the network of maintenance tunnels as escape routes. Which is interesting if you're into that sort of thing. In 1876, Wild Bill Hickok is shot in the back as he plays poker in a saloon in Deadwood, now in South Dakota. He is holding a pair of aces and a pair of eights, a combination that is now known as the dead man's hand. I don't know in poker whether that's a good hand. I've got no idea. We jump again to 1943, and a US Navy motor torpedo boat, the PT-109, is rammed and sunk by the Japanese destroyer Amagiri, propelling its commander, Lieutenant John F. Kennedy, to the role of war hero after he saves several of his crew. Relation to President Kennedy? I don't know. But if you're from America, you might be able to tell me. And then in 1990, Saddam Hussein of Iraq precipitates the Gulf War by invading Kuwait. And that's rather poignant because my dad flew in the Gulf War and Desert Storm because of this, and in 1990 and 91 and things, so the fact that things my dad did are now counted as history feels really weird. Hence why I stay on the medieval side, because those people are definitely dead now. Goodness, if the people I was studying were still alive, that'd be a bit questionable. So yes, the reason I suppose why we've got more things documented for later rather than earlier, because, you know, calendars change, dates change, whereas documentation was much more efficient in the later years. What is the date today? I cannot remember for the life of me. I'm trying to find another piece of medieval close. On the 25th of July, I don't know if that's today or it's been and gone. It's tomorrow. I don't know. In 1587, Christianity is outlawed in Japan and Jesuit missionaries are expelled. I remember doing that for one of my modules. It was rather traumatizing. And hence why I generally don't go up to the 16th century anymore, because they get a bit... Ugh. Oh, cool, yes. So the 8th of August has a 1576 entry, and it's as the Danish mathematician and astronomer Tycho Brahe lays the cornerstone for the world's first observatory at Uraniborg, his nose falls off. I studied A-level physics, for those of you who don't know, and it goes on to detail here. This is one of the things my physics teacher told me in order to keep me interested. In 56, Brahe had fought a duel in a darkened room over the validity of a mathematical equation and lost his nose in the farce. Blech. For the rest of his life, Brahe had to wear a metal replacement nose, plain copper on working days, with a more ornate silver and gold one for nights out. How cool does he sound? Also, he died because his bladder burst whilst he was at a feast because he couldn't be bothered to get up and stop eating. He was an interesting human. Oh, and this is why I love history. Oh, there's something on 1305. So this is... Oh, wow. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. There's actually a couple here. On the 3rd of August in 216 BC, Hannibal of Carthage has laid battle, and Rome is counting how many of them are dead. And in 1492, Columbus set sail from Spain to kill all the natives with disease. Can you tell how I feel about that period of history? And then this will be the last one, I promise. 5th of August 1305 is William Wallace, aka Braveheart, is captured by the English and taken to London for execution. Yeah, and then it talks about the Braveheart film. So anyway, tangent, but this is definitely a book I recommend if you're interested in anything historical, be it modern things about poker, well, not modern things about poker, but that story about the guy with his poker getting shot, or whether, like me, you like to flick through and find all the medievally stuff. It's always nice to find something that goes with your, say for example, your birthday. I don't think I've got anything on my birthday. That's exciting. No, it starts in 1707. It's like, where is the medieval? Bet my sister's got something. Yes, my sister's birthday has something that starts in 1098. Not competitive at all. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking around, and hopefully you found that interesting. I was going to talk about my views on historical fiction and adaptations either for TV or for reading, but I feel that would have made this an extortionately long episode, and I could easily make a video just on that itself. But if that's something you fancy, let me know down below or send me a message. I would have a conversation with you, definitely. But until the next time, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful summer, and I wish you all the best. Bye.